What's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. And in today's video, we're going to talk about auto repossessions. If you've ever had your car repossessed and they're coming after you for the deficiency balance, I'm going to share with you how you can deal with that, how you can come to a resolution. I'm going to elaborate on the different things that we look for when we're dealing with this for our clients, but will be great information if you've ever had your automobile repossessed and they're starting to come after you for the deficiency balance. I'm going to tell you some of the things that you need to watch out for, because when a debt collector buys an auto repo debt, just like if they were to buy a credit card debt, there's certain things that they have to prove, and let's just get right into it. Also, just want to alert you, make sure that if you look in the comments, if you're on YouTube, you look at the comment section, it's going to have a black box around the credit repair shop. If you don't see that, that's a fake individual that is replying to pretending to be us. They'll put a fake image of, copy and paste an image of me. We're jumping on that as quick as we see it, but be very careful. We do not tell people to contact us through WhatsApp or Gmail, something like that. We always say go to live chat or go to our email address, which has our company domain at the end of it, support@thecreditrepairshop.com, or you can go to live chat. That's where you go to our website, thecreditrepairshop.com, and on there we have the live chat. And then if you're a client or you want to talk to us about becoming a client, you can call our 800 number, 800-803-7390. Now, we get a lot of calls, so be upfront with you. We get a lot of calls, but we do get to everybody. And also, some people say we haven't called them, and we do call you. You got to look at your phone. You got to make sure you don't have anything on there that says that if you get a call from a number that's not identified, that's never called you before, that you don't have it go to where it shuts off on your phone. So it's a good and bad with these different apps that won't allow certain calls to go through. So it's not always the company's fault if they don't get you, because your phone could be shutting down the call even before it gets to you. So be alert of that, so there's a good and bad with the apps. But I do feel you on, I get a lot of calls too from telemarketers and stuff, but the other side of that is they don't tell you that you may not be able to be reached by people who you want to be reached by, but they haven't called you at least one time before. And that even goes for texting, that if you text someone that you've never called before, especially on the Apple devices, it won't even let the text go through some of the times. All right, so we're going to get into it. Auto repossessions. Right now, I was watching CNBC before I came in to my conference room to make this video, and they keep showing news reports that the auto debt is just huge. It's huge, and you might be saying, well, why does it keep going up when they keep having more and more repossessions? And that's because the way that it's like a cycle. And you see all of the commercials, get a car loan with bad credit, bankruptcy, doesn't matter, all that. You're just wondering, why do they do that? Why would they make these loans when they know that the people aren't going to finish paying them? Not to say that you're not one. People just can get into trouble too and not be able to pay their car. It's because the way that the algorithms are set for these lending companies is that they will have this algorithm that will take in the individual's history from what they've done with other auto loans, and they will say, okay, based on what they've done in the past, based on where they're at right now, we believe that we would make this amount of payments on the loan. Not to say that they don't want all of the payments, but these are some very smart individuals where they will get loans, and then they will probably try to package them up, sell the loans. So they're going to make a certain amount of payments. That's their profit. They're going to package them up, sell those loans, and then make another profit. And then that fund or whoever buys them, they're going to wait on the payments, or they might package it up and resell it. You've seen the news reports. This type of stuff is going on all over the place. It is crazy, but they'll package up loans that are C and D grade, that are subprime, and there's people out there that'll buy subprime paper because they make more money on the interest. Then you'll have A and B paper. That when I say A and B paper, that's where people have either excellent credit or good credit, and there's firms that'll buy that, and they'll just wait on the payments to come through. They believe that that's more reliable. They'll hold it, and they'll make their profit over time. I mean, that's just how our financial system works. And then from them selling those loans to other entities, those subprime lending companies start their cycle all over again. They want to have businesses go out there, do your advertising, bring in more people, and let's just start the cycle all over again. So now let's get into the solutions on what you can do if you have an auto repo debt. So first thing is, and I'm going to talk about this from the perspective of an original creditor and a collector. So when you have an auto repo debt, the first thing that you want to do is you want to get your original contract, and you want to check to see if there's any type of credit insurance on there. And you should look at yours also that you have, but I'm going to tell you in a second why you want to get the original contract from the original creditor. And then you want to look for any payment protection. Credit insurance could have paid the vehicle off. You never know. There's all types of riders, insurance riders that are out there that will do these are different types of products that are available where they will either pay it off or pay a portion. There's payment protection where they could have made you. Some people didn't even understand it, or they just got it because it sounded good at the beginning. Is that there's some type of payment protection. They could have been paid for a certain period of time, or you just never know. And one of the things that I've found with the payment protection is that a lot of people will get that payment protection, and then when they try to utilize it, the company will try to do not the auto lender, the company that they got that insurance from will try to do everything that they can to not pay. We see that happening with these auto repair insurances that are just bombarding the airways right now. When you actually try to go and get something fixed on the vehicle, they'll come up with these crazy things. Just to give you an example, with my Range Rover, I had bought an extended warranty. They had paid for just about everything. Like the extended warranty would work for everything. And then there was one thing that went out on my sensor on the driver's side window, where after I drove the vehicle for a little bit, the triangle would come up and it would say that the sensor isn't working on the left side for that mirror. And I was like, well, let me just take it in. I got the extended warranty on my Range Rover, and they said that they would not repair that because it's part of the braking system. And I was like, I thought I had a full extended warranty, bumper to bumper and all that stuff. And then when I looked at it, they sent it to me, and it was like, nothing is included that is with the braking system. And I'm like, how's that with the braking system? And they broke it down that that's part of the braking system. And I was like, this is crazy. So don't watch out for those types of extended warranties and all that. A lot of that stuff is rip off. The one that I did get, they did pay for a lot of stuff. It was actually from the dealer. When I look at what I paid for the extended warranty and the work that they had to do, they did have to do a lot of stuff. And the tires on that vehicle over $600, and they've had to replace 2 tires. They've had to do there was some sort of issue with the radiator, but they just took care of it. And there's been some other stuff that had happened with it. Not a lot. I don't want to scare people from Range Rover. I buy my cars used. It was a certified used one. But just after a while, there were some certain things that went wrong. But I've been on a good streak. On a knock on wood, been on a very good streak right now. And I keep my vehicles for a long time. That one is actually a 2016. We're in 2023, so I'm not the type of person that goes out there and buys new cars and has all the the payments. I'd say that there's nothing wrong with that, but I just don't. My Mercedes is a 2007, and I'm still driving it. I don't drive it during the winter, but my vehicles are old. So you want to check on these with this payment protection. You want to check on that credit insurance, and you're just trying to see right now. What you're doing is you're just gathering information, and then the next thing you want to do is you want to check to see if there's any legal issues, like with the FTC or the CFPB, on the finance company. Now you might be saying, well, I bought it from the dealer. Why would I be looking it up on the finance company? Because if you saw like what happened with American Credit Acceptance, you saw what happened with Santander and some of the other small subprime auto lenders, and just regular. Doesn't have to be subprime. Wells Fargo went through this. A lot of different places went through this. Check to see if there's any issues, because those issues could be part of your negotiations if it gets to a settlement, or you might be included in a class action lawsuit to where your whole loan, everything about it is just going to be canceled out. That's what happened recently with American Credit Acceptance. But also look at the issues that were raised in the lawsuits, and you could see and go recollect in your memory to see if there is some of those things that they allege happened in the lawsuits with CFPB or FTC, if those are some of the things that you recall happening to you when you had your loan. Like one of the biggest things that happened with credit acceptance was that the contract that was given to American Credit Acceptance was a different contract than the contract that people had in their hands. That's why I say you have yours, but you still need to have them give you a copy of that original contract, because they found that this is from what happened with the CFPB with American Credit Acceptance. They found that the contract that was given to American Credit Acceptance was different than the contract that was actually signed by the individual. So they had forged all types of things. And then people found out that with their vehicle, they had paid 5 years or 3 years on their vehicle, and they still owed the same amount that they bought, almost the same amount that they bought the vehicle for. So you want to double check any legal issues. It could be anything. You just need to do that. And remember, this is just to gather information. What you want to do is you want to always gather your information before you respond to the original creditor or the debt collector law, if they're trying to come after you with a lawsuit, or if they've just made their initial demand. The next thing is you want to get the auction statement. Every time I talk about auto repo issues, it always brings in my mind one of the first customers that the credit repair shop had. It was a senior citizen. Her husband had passed away. He had bought a Cadillac. He knew that he was dying, and he purchased a Cadillac because I guess he just wanted to have a new Cadillac. And when he passed away, I think it was 2 or 3 months later after he purchased it, he passed away. And then it was left in her hands, and then she had them pick up the vehicle. She was like, I can't afford it. Just give it back. And some people may not understand what had happened there, but I've seen that happen with a lot of people who knew that they were going to be passing away. It's like they just want, it's like the bucket list. They go and do stuff, and even some stuff are bad financial decisions, but in their eyes, they're not even really looking back. They're looking forward at, that they know that they're going to be passing away. So, you might be saying, well, that was a stupid decision. Why would you leave that with them? People do that all the time. They do it all the time. So, but it brings up her situation, because when we asked for the auction statement on the Cadillac, we found that they had actually got more money than they had claimed. As a matter of fact, it was almost paid off. That really she just had some fees that they had tacked on, because the vehicle was 2 months only he had only had the vehicle for 2 months. We all know that when you take a vehicle off the lot, it depreciates. So basically, we were mainly looking at depreciation value and looking at the fees that they had kind of tacked onto there. So you want to always get that auction statement down. I got a email in the chat that said, where do you get the auction statement from? Who is supposed to supply that to you? The original creditor. The original creditor is the one who is supposed to supply that to you. They're supposed to give you that. As soon as it happens, they're supposed to give you that and give you the deficiency balance. The deficiency balance is the amount that is left on your loan after they minus off what they sold the car for at the auction. So you got to pay attention to that. It's called a deficiency balance. So if you ever get a debt collection letter or a demand letter from the original creditor or something, and they use the term deficiency, that's what they're using. Let me break down why they're calling it a deficiency balance. Because when you had your vehicle, it was, and with your loan, it was secured by your loan was secured by the vehicle. That was the lien on the vehicle. So what they're actually having to do is this goes again into the misconceptions of what a charge-off actually is. A lot of people think that a charge-off is just like, hey, we written it off and we want to, throw it on our taxes and all that stuff. Yeah, that's part of it, but let me tell you the big reasons behind a charge-off, why they have to do this, is that they have to unsecure the vehicle away from your loan. And the only way to do that legally, they have to do the banking regulations. They have to actually also do it due to investors that are invested in the company or however they're getting their money. They have to justify why they're doing certain things. They can't just say, well, we're going to sell the car at auction. And then people will say, well, what about this loan that went bad? What's going on with that? Where is the security on that? So these are all like a paper trail of what's going on with the loan. So the next thing that they're going to do is they're going to do the charge off. When they do the charge off, it's going to release the vehicle. The vehicle is now released and they can sell it. It becomes an asset of the original creditor and they can sell that vehicle off, put those funds back into the company, and do whatever they're going to do with their books. But then they're going to have that charge off. That charge off is going to put your loan, or if you had the repossessed deficiency balance, is going to attach that to that, and then they're going to start doing their process. Either they're going to sell it to a debt collector, or they may choose to get an attorney if they feel that they can get the money. They're going to get an attorney, and then they're going to try to sue and get the and try to get the deficiency balance. Now, the things that you need to do, and we just ran into one of these just today or yesterday when I reviewed it, is that the debt that they were attempting to come after was past the legal statute of limitations for them to even be able to collect, and that was from a debt collector. So the debt collector purchased the debt. Debt collector purchased the debt in 2018. They had purchased over $10 million in auto repo debt. And it probably just because it's taken a long time to get around to suing everybody, or I don't know what was the reason, but this client who turned in the summons actually benefited because the state that they live in, it was past the legal statute of limitations for them to collect. They were actually past the statute of limitations by 2 months. That debt collector missed, this is just a technicality, they missed being able to sue this individual by just 2 months. But if that individual didn't come to us or they hadn't watched my videos, they wouldn't have never known anything about the statute of limitations, because they were preparing to actually have to pay the debt, and that debt was $26,000. So for not understanding, not having the education, not having the knowledge, that individual could have had to pay $26,000 on a debt that they did not have to pay. That's why I say it's very, very important to get all of the information. See, you want to get all of this information before you respond to your court summons. You want to get all of that information before you respond to any debt collector demand letter, even if it's from the original creditor. Now, let's just take it from if it was the original creditor trying to sue them. It would still be the same situation. The original creditor would not be able to collect on that $26,000 because it's past the legal statute of limitations for that particular individual state. Now, you might be saying, well, how do I know my state statute of limitations? You can go to my website, thecreditrepairshop.com. At the bottom, click on blog, type in and search statute of limitations. You will see a list of the statute of limitations by state by state. In the first column, if you have an auto repo debt or you have any type of loan that is not open type of account like a credit card, it's going to be in column number 1. That's where this would have been. When we looked in column number 1, it was past the legal statute of limitations for them to be able to collect. Now, before I close out on the video, other things that you need to check, you need to really comb through your contract. You want to make sure that it matched the truth in lending, that it matches what you get from the original creditor contract and the contract that you have. You want to make sure that that matches. Now, I'm going to tell you an easy way, very simple and easy way to figure out if they lied to you on the truth and lending statement. If you make payments, let's just say that you made payments for 2 years, 24 months, and you notice that your principal balance is not going down at all. Like you're like, man, I've been paying on this vehicle for 24 months and the principal is just about the same. Let me tell you a simple way that you could do, how you can figure this out. And this could be even before you, before losing a vehicle. You could do this right now if you have a vehicle. This is something that everybody should do. Is that you should ask the lender for a breakdown of your payment for a payoff. And what they'll do is they'll give you a sheet. And they'll give you a sheet and they'll say, okay, if you keep paying, this is where your balance will be. You keep paying not without any mistakes or any issues. This is where you would be, and they'll break it down by payment, each payment month by month. Look at that and see if your principal matches. If your principal does not match, then there could be an issue with the finance charge, where they've either changed it, like the lending company has a different amount other than the amount that you signed for, because that's what happened with American Credit Acceptance. That's what happened with Santander. So you want to check for that. So again, I'll repeat, you ask for a payment sheet, like give me a list of all of the payments that I've made with the balances and all of the ones in the future, so I can know my payoff. If I just keep paying these payments, what is that going to look like if I keep paying that same amount? And it'll keep giving you a running register of the principal that you would have. Compare that, because that is actually how American Credit Acceptance got caught, and that is actually how Santander got caught, because people were paying their vehicles on their payoff date. Just think you paid 36 months or 60 months on a car, and then you're thinking you're going to get the title, and they're saying, hey, you bought the car for $35,000, you still owe $30,000 on the vehicle. That's what happened. You don't have to take my word on it. Look up the settlement lawsuits, and you will see that for yourself. It will blow your mind if you're not aware of it. All right, if you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com. Grab your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports, and that will have the information about your charge-off, have any information about any collectors, any stuff. That's part of what you want to do to gather your data. And then if you have debt collectors coming after you, grab my statute of limitations letter. And the statute of limitations letter, that's for debts that is past the legal statute of limitations. Because at the beginning, before they went to a lawsuit, if this individual would know, they would be able to, number one, know that the statute of limitations is coming up, even if they got the debt, the demand letter, the dunning letter before the statute of limitations. They could have waited just a few more months, and then they would have sent that statute of limitations letter directly to the debt collector, and they would have had to cease all collection activities, and that would have also worked for the original creditor. They have to go with that. They have no legal, there's no legal option for them to make you have to pay that debt. And included in that, I have a cease and desist collection activities letter. That letter will help you if you have a debt collector coming after you that is not past the legal statute of limitations. It will ask questions of that debt collector that they don't want you to know about. And so it's a very good letter. And I have a debt validation letter, so you can go back and forth. You're going to need to make some adjustments to it, but those letters can save you time, money, frustration. I do ask for a donation when you download them, but it's worth it. If it could save you, that one statute of limitations letter could save $26,000 for an individual. And then if you have other debts, what if you have a repo, you got some credit cards and all that stuff, and you had a statute of limitations letter, the way that it works, the way that someone has designed it, and it really does work, I think it would be worth a donation. And I do have an upgraded version if you want to get those. Those are some of the ones that we have redesigned and we use here in our office. Thank you for your time. Post your questions and comments. This is Stephen A. Williams.